Hey there guys, welcome back for another Warhammer 40,000 Imperium playthrough. This week we are doing Duel in the Depths from issue 9. So we can see we've got the table set up here using the small mat. We've got the Primaries Captain on E. We have the Lieutenant on D. We have the Necron Lord on B. Or the Overlord I should say, and the Royal Warden on A there. So nice and simple play through this one. It's literally just using the rules we've already learnt so far with attacking and melee and all that lot, movement and all that, and the objective is last man standing. So we get 5 turns each, and whoever destroys the other player or has more models left than the other one at the end of the game wins. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's have a look at the data sheets. So first data sheet we have for the Primaries Captain. Obviously we've got the stats. We can see that he's got a 6-inch movement, a weapon skill of 2+, and remember this is for his hand-to-hand combat or melee combat. His ballistic skill for shooting is a 2+. And these are what you have to roll on a d6 or higher, so 2 or more will constitute a hit, and then you'll roll to wound afterwards. You then have the strength 4, toughness 4. He has 6 wounds, 5 attacks in melee, and the pistol will have its own attacks stated with the stat down there, and a save of 3+. His plasma pistol can shoot up to 12 inches, and his pistol 1, so he gets 1 shot with it. It's strength 7, AP -3, and 1 damage. His mastercrafted power sword is melee, so that's its type and its range. Its strength is user +1, so strength is 4 + 1, so a strength of 5. And its damage is 2, so it will do 2 wounds for the successful hit, and he will get 5 attacks. So potentially doing up to 10 points of damage with a -3 AP. So definitely a powerful unit. Then we have the Primaries Lieutenant, and his stats are pretty much all the same, except he has 1 less wound. He has 5 instead of 6, and 1 less attack. He has 4 instead of 5. His Neo Volkite pistol can shoot a little bit further, up to 15 inches. It's a Type 2 pistol. So it has, or a pistol 2, so it has 2 shots per attack, but it's 0 AP, but it does 2 damage per shot. So essentially it can do, or potentially it can do up to 4 damage. And then again, he has a mastercrafted power sword, so the stats are the same here, but obviously because the stats are slightly different, it gets user +1 strength, so that's the same. Gets -3, so no, they are the same. And then he does 2 damage per attack that lands, but he only gets 4 attacks, so he can only do up to 8 potential damage. Then we have the Overlord. Similar stats, except a little bit tougher and stronger than the Captain. 1 less wound, so he's a 5 wound instead of 6 like the Captain. His attacks, he only gets 4, and he saves on a 3+. He only has the Void Scythe, which is a user ×2, so the strength on it is actually ×2 of the 5, so 10 strength, -4 AP, and it does 3 damage per hit. So you are essentially looking at a possible 12 damage per attack with the Void Scythe. One of the downsides is the ability. You subtract 1 for the attack's hit roll with each attack. So if you roll a 2, you subtract the 1 and it would become a miss, because obviously he needs a 2 or more. He also has the Living Metal ability. So he gains 1 wound at the start of each turn, up to his maximum of 5 wounds. You can't go above 5. And then the Royal Warden is a 6-inch movement, 3+, 3+ for the weapon skill and the ballistic skill. but he does have strength 5 and toughness 5 and the 4 wounds. He gets 3 attacks and saves on a 3+. But his relic Gauze Blaster can shoot up to 30 inches, is a rapid fire 2, which means that if he is within half range, so if he's less than 15 inches, then he gets 4 shots instead of 2 shots. He does strength 5 minus AP 2 and 2 damage per shot. So he can do between 4 and 8, or between 2 and 8 damage. And again, he has the Living Metal ability, so he gains 1 wound at the start of each of his turns, up to a maximum of 4 wounds. Obviously, down at the bottom of the sheet here, you guys have obviously got these pages as well. But we've got the wound table. We've got the fight sequence is now starting to be laid out for us. So we've got charging models fight first, opponent fights with a model, then the player whose turn it is fights with a model. So, with those stats and details out of the way, let's get started. Right, so I can't remember who is supposed to start with the playthrough, but I'm going to start with the Necrons anyway. So, first of all, the movement phase. I'm going to take the Overlord here and advance him towards the captain. So I'm going to roll the advance. 3 plus his movement of 5 gives me a total of 8 inches. So we'll move this like so. Get that out of the way. Then after the movement phase comes the shooting phase. And obviously for that, I'm going to have the Royal Warden shoot at the Lieutenant. Now, I know that this board, the mini one, is only about 15 inches. So there's less than 12 or about 12 inches between them, which means the Gauze Blaster gets to rapid fire. Rapid fire. So we double the number of attacks. And if you remember, the rapid fire, or the weapon is a rapid fire 2, so it gets 4 attacks. And we need 3s or more. Scoring 2. So 2 miss and 2 succeed. Next, we look at the strength of the weapon, which is a strength 5, and the toughness of the Lieutenant, which is toughness 4. So our strength is greater, but it's not twice or more. It's just better than it, but it's not double the amount, which means we score on a 3+. So rolling to wound, they both fail to wound, so they just clink off his armor and do bugger all. After the movement phase, we do the assault phase, or the charge phase. So for this, obviously the Overlord, sorry, got blank. The Overlord is going to charge the captain. So we roll 2d6 and we can charge the total number, which obviously is 9. So more than enough, makes it successful and lands right into base-to-base contact. And get a bit more light on the board if we can. Right, so next is the fight sequence. So as we can see, charging models go first. So the Overlord will go first. He has 4 attacks. And I dropped a dice. He has 4 attacks needing 3s or more to hit. And he hits on 1. So he's not rolling too good today. Next, we need to roll for damage. Now, the Void Scythe is Strength User times 2. He has a strength of 5. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong stats there. All of them hit because he needed 2s or more, didn't he? So, all of them hit. Strength 5 times 2, so strength 10 against the toughness 4 of the captain means we are twice or more. We are more than double. So we wound on 2s or more. So we have all 4 wound. Not looking good for this captain. Now the captain has to make a save. Now the weapon, the Void Scythe, has an AP of -3. However, this only applies to regular saves. The captain has a 4+ invulnerable save. So instead of needing 6s to make his save, because obviously 6 - 3 gives a 3, still hits his 3+ target, he will only need 4+ because we don't do the negative of the AP of the weapon. So we need 4s or greater to save against these wounds, and 2 of them save, 2 of them fail. And the damage per fail is 3 for the Void Scythe, for a total of 6 damage to the captain. So the captain is dead. There you go, captain. Sorry, dude, but yeah, you're out. So captain is the first casualty of war. And that is the end of the Necron's turn. So now we move on to the Primaris turn. So for the lieutenant that is remaining, after watching his captain fall, would probably make him crap himself, but he is going to fight on. He is a Space Marine, and they shall have no fear, something like that. So he is going to advance. So we roll the dice, score a 5, plus his 6 gives us an advance of 11. So what I'm going to do is place the 11 just in front, or just at the base there. Now we can see that that is going to put us within the area of the Necron Overlord, Royal Warden. So we are going to place him close. He's going to be just outside of that range, so just remaining outside of an inch. And he is going to shoot his Neo-Volkite pistol. So the pistol, or the Neo-Volkite, is a pistol 2, which means it fires 2 shots. So bear in mind we are now in obviously the shooting phase. So he gets 2 shots, needing 2s or more to hit, and they both hit successfully. The strength of the pistol is 5, and the toughness of the Royal Warden is also 5. So we need a 4 or more to wound. One wounds and the other fails. Now the Neo-Volkite doesn't have any AP, so the Royal Warden will obviously use his 3+ save. He doesn't have any invulnerable saves, so he needs to save on a 3+. And it's on the table, so we'll still count it. That's a save. So the Royal Warden is safe there. Next, we're going to move on to the charge phase. And obviously, we can see that the Lieutenant is close enough to that Royal Warden, so he is going to charge in. We'll count it as a successful move. And now we enter the fight phase. So the fight phase, we're going to have the Primaris Lieutenant use his 4 attacks in melee combat, and he needs a 2+ to hit, and we fail with 2 of them, and 2 succeed. His strength is user +1, so this is the strength of the weapon, is user +1, and the user strength is 4, so it's for a strength of 5. Again, against the toughness of 5 against the Necron. Obviously they're made of metal, they're going to be tough, so we need 4s or more to wound, and both succeed. The weapon has a -3 AP. The Royal Warden doesn't have any invulnerable saves, so he needs to use his normal 3+ save. So we'll roll. We will deduct 3 from each of these dice rolls, so both fail. So the Royal Warden loses 4 wounds, because the the Mastercrafted Power Sword does 2 damage per wound, and we got 2 successful wounds, so that's 4 wounds. The Royal Warden has a total of 4 wounds, so we are calling 1-1. There's the Royal Warden gone. Right, back to the Necrons. So both of these guys are going to look at each other and be a bit peeved that they've just killed each other's backup guy or main guy in, for the instance of the lieutenant there. So first of all, we are going to make an advance. 5 plus the 5 gives us an advance of 10. You can see that gets us right up close to that lieutenant, so we're going to keep it just outside. And then we are going to roll for a charge, which we know we can make. So they are now in hand-to-hand combat, which takes us into the fight phase. The Overlord fights first because he charged. So with his 4 attacks, he is going to need 2s or more, and they all succeed. However, the ability, remember, I've only just remembered it, I may have forgot this earlier, is -1 from the attack's hit rolls. So this one and this one actually fail because they become 1s. This becomes a 2, which is still a success, and a 4. So only 2 hits. So now we need to wound. Obviously we've got the user ×2 is 10 up against the toughness of 4. So we wound on 2s or more. And that's 2 successes. And the lieutenant is going to use his Storm's Shield, which has a 4+ invulnerable save, to to attempt to save, which means the -4 AP of the Void Scythe doesn't count. Now, one thing I am a little unsure of here, I will have to check it in the rules, is it says, in addition, add +1 to armor save rolls for this model. Now, I'm assuming the armor save roll is the standard 3+, so that would become a 4+. We don't add that +1 to the invulnerable save because it is not an armor save, it's an invulnerable save. So it will still be 4+, we don't add that +1 to this. However, we don't get the -4 AP. So, roll in, we need 4s or greater. 1 horrible fail and 1 success. So the lieutenant takes 3 damage. He has 5 wounds, if I am correct. Yes, 5 wounds. So that leaves him with 2 wounds remaining. Right, over to the Space Marines' turn. Obviously they're in hand-to-hand combat. We're not going to have him fall back because then he won't be able to shoot, as far as I understand the rules. I can't remember if we have actually covered that yet, or if it's a future issue. But if he falls back, he can't shoot, so the only advantage that would give him is if you're allowed to charge, then he can fall back, charge, and get the first attack. Again, I don't think that's possible, so I'm not going to do it. Here, we will just do the fight phase. And remember, they are already in hand-to-hand combat, so the Overlord actually gets to fight first. And this is where I don't agree with this. I think that because it's the Space Marine's turn, the Space Marine should be able to fight first. He would have the initiative. I think back in the day we used to have initiative. I don't know if we still have it, but he would have initiative, so he should get to attack first. I think the way we used to do it back in the earlier editions would be you would move across the board doing each battle, and whoever had the higher initiative out of those two is who would fight first, and then the other one would follow. You would then move on to the next one. So essentially you could go Space Marine attack first, Necron attack second. In the next one, the Necron could have a higher initiative, so he would attack, then the Space Marine. In the next one, it could be the same again, and you would do that. I think they have done away with that, and I don't think it works too well. So Games Workshop, if you guys see this, bring that old system back. I think it was better. Anyway, let's get on with this. So 4 attacks, 2s to wound. They all wound, or they all hit, sorry, minus the 1. So 1 fails, 3 hit. We need 2s to wound. They all wound, and the lieutenant needs to save on a 4 or more. And he is successful. So the lieutenant survives that one, lucky enough, because 1 more hit would actually kill him. So now it's the lieutenant's turn. So he is going to use his, I believe he has 4 attacks as well. Yes. So he gets 4 attacks, needing 2s. All of them succeed. Now, the strength of his sword is user +1, so it's strength 5. Toughness 5 of the Overlord means we need 4s to wound. And 1 fails and 3 wound. The Necron Overlord gets a save of 3+. So 2 6s and a 5. Now, the AP of the sword is -3. So these 2 here become 3s, which is still a save. This becomes a 2, which is a fail. So the warrior has 1 fail, and for that he receives 2 damage, taking him down to 3 wounds. I say warrior, I mean Overlord. So the Overlord is now down to 3 wounds. We're going to go straight into the combat phase again. It's now the Necron's turn, which means the lieutenant gets to go first. So he's going to use his 4 attacks. He hits on all of them. He is going to roll 4s or more to wound, and he fails 2 of them. And the Overlord is going to save on 3s. Minus the 3 AP means he loses both of them. Don't forget, and I did forget, he actually regains a wound at the beginning of his turn, so he is actually on 4 wounds remaining. However, he has just lost 2 or failed 2 saves, and they give the 2 wounds per fail, so he loses all 4 wounds. The Overlord is dead, and the Space Marines win. So, well done, Space Marines. Now, obviously, if you guys are playing this at home, whoever won, you now switch which army you're playing as and play through again. Play it a good, so that you're playing each side 2, maybe 3 times each, and you know, get used to these rules before you move on to the next issue. But being a week apart, or if you're getting your subs, then obviously you've got 4, so they're a month apart. But being as they are a week apart, a week full of running quick 15-20 minute games is more than enough to learn the game. But that is all for today, guys. Obviously, I did a little bit of hiccups there, forgetting the living metal ability of the Overlord. But obviously, we're all learning, and even experienced players that have been playing for years upon years still forget things. They still forget certain abilities of units, and then remember later in the game. It happens. The main point of the game is to have fun. Don't focus too much on the rules. If you remember and your opponent is happy with it, then obviously quickly run back to that rule, as long as it's not too late and it doesn't throw the balance of the game off. But yeah, the idea is fun. Fun should always override the rules to a point. But yeah, that is it. That is all for today, guys. Now, as issue 9 and 10 are a 2-parter this week, I'm doing them all as one set of videos. So Up in the corner there is the playthrough for issue 10. Go and check that out. If you haven't yet seen the painting videos, magazine reviews, they are all up in the cards there as well. Do check all of those out. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. That thumbs up button. If you are not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Ding that bell for notifications of when new videos go live. But until next time, guys, that is all from me.